if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Welcome to our 11th tea time chat. Hopefully you have a tea, Vietnamese tea.
No, I don't have a Vietnamese tea. I have to get one.
That's fine.
Tell me to bring tea.
Hylton, I know you've established really interesting and successful wellness resorts and hotels in Vietnam. Can you tell us how did you start these businesses and concept, and why did you start?
Why I got into wellness. But actually, it's a long story. We need more than an hour. We need tea time, dinner time, breakfast time. I've been involved in wellness and fitness and spas for many years. And it's like a chain reaction. Everything leads into another. I started in the fitness industry many years ago when I was young with a lot more hair. And I had long hair like you, actually, at one stage.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I was involved in the fitness industry, and I used to travel around the world presenting fitness classes and education all over the world, England included. Not Korea, but England, yes. And then I got introduced into the spa industry through fitness, and the spa industry led me into hotel management. And then it's kind of done a full circle because now I'm in hotel management, but I'm managing a wellness retreat, which incorporates spa and wellness and fitness and everything. So it's actually like a full circle. So I've kind of used my experience and my expertise and my passion all at the same time. So I suppose I'm quite lucky.
Yeah, that sounds really interesting. And I know from previous conversation, your business has been actually doing well, even during these lockdowns and pandemic time, which was really nice to hear. And can you tell us more about why domestic tourists come to your resorts for their wellness weekends or retreats? And what do they actually do? What do they do for their wellness in Vietnam?
Oh, that's a trade secret. You have to come to discover. No.
And it's $1 million question, right?
Million? No, 10 million. No.
Oh, 10 million.
No, like you very rightly said, our business model here in Hue, Central Vietnam, at Alba Wellness Valley by Fusion, has been very much a domestic market. So meaning that when the international market disappeared, we still could wave our flag and people still came. And not only did people still come, but we were very popular and we have a great reputation. We still do have a great reputation with the domestic market. So yes, we have still been running our business throughout these past 18 months. To be 100% honest with you, since we last spoke, things have changed a little bit. As we all know, here in Vietnam, actually here in Asia, the wave has been quite bad this time. I think last year this time we were all looking at everyone in Europe and in America and saying, oh, they're all sitting at home with their fast. But actually, it's done full circle. And now everyone in Europe, like yourself, are running around and going for coffee. And here in Asia, that's not actually the case.
Well, I have to say, I know in UK, I mean, we can go around it out, but cases are rising and hospitalization.
Correct.
So I don't know. But sorry, yeah, go ahead.
It's frustrating. We'll get to that. I'm sure it's going to be one of your questions. So yes, people come to Alba Wellness Valley because one, take a look behind me. Okay, it's very green, it's very beautiful, and we're all about being outside and offering wellness. Yes, there's many hotels around the world, there's many spas around the world, there's many beautiful green forests and mountains around the world, but we put it all together and in a beautiful environment, and people enjoy what we have. And we have hot springs coming out of the ground. We have beautiful hot springs coming out of the ground which is all part of it. So it's really not just about the beautiful mountain, not just about the beautiful spa, but it's all about the hot springs and the food and the nature and the people and the team. So it's really an escape in Vietnam, which is not far from Saigon or from Hanoi, where people can have this beauty and this natural, and we're all about wellness. We're all about trying to make people feel happy and healthy. So yeah, it ticks all the boxes, and especially now where people have been locked up at home and people want to be well and not ill, that ticks another box. So that's a huge opportunity for us, so I should say.
Definitely.
So yeah, it's okay. Like I was saying, unfortunately, things have changed a little bit. The cases here, Saigon or Ho Chi Minh City has been closed down now for nearly 2 months. And Hanoi is now also being closed down for nearly a month. And slowly but surely, the circle around us has become smaller and smaller and smaller. So we're still open. We can still go out for a cup of coffee, but no one can come have the cup of coffee. So our potential business is really closed. The circle has become very, very small. Plus, unfortunately, now in our region, we are starting to get some cases under control. But so we're not on lockdown, but everyone's nervous. So I think we're lucky to be open. We have a beautiful place, but the business is very slow. And it will take time until Hanoi and Saigon get sorted out that we'll get back to business.
Yeah, hopefully next year, this time, right?
Well, that's what we all said last year. We said next year, this time.
And it's getting worse. But despite the cases, right? But I really appreciate your model, because you see in Southeast Asia many like wellness resorts, they have a completely like a model that's separate from local culture or nature. They have a very like Western spa, yoga classes, but your model includes local nature and the natural hot springs and the heritage and the Vietnamese, the local food. So I think that's kind of future for wellness resorts, I think, right? Inclusive of local heritage and natural culture and people more, right?
Correct.
Yes.
I've been in the industry a long time and I've traveled around the world, and yes, it's very strange. You go to the Middle East and you eat a hamburger. And it's like, well, what's wrong with this picture? Yes, the best hamburger is in Dubai. It's like, no, the best shawarma should be in Dubai and the best hamburger should be in America. So yeah, sometimes you have to consider the culture, but you've also got to consider the market. And unfortunately, people living in Asia want Western things, and people living in the West want Asian things. So when you're caught in the middle in a hotel, are you catering to the Westerners or are you catering to the locals? And in our case, there is Western offerings, but definitely more local offerings.
That's really interesting, because whenever I go to Seoul, my hometown, I often go to Italian restaurants. Then my Irish husband gets very frustrated because he wants authentic Korean food, but I want Italian in Korea. So yeah, I'm sure it's very difficult to come.
I'm sure he can find a Guinness beer anywhere in the world, though.
That's true, but he's very picky about the quality, though. Quality doesn't, So I mean, as a general manager or hotel provider, I'm sure it's very, very complicated to satisfy all the customers, because people are becoming more demanding. Even I can imagine, right?
Correct.
But
I think the wellness actually helps that, because somehow it's a little bit more a mindset of being not stressed. Yes, people will still complain if they don't get what they want, but people come to our place to relax and not to scream and stress out. So that kind of helps a little bit.
Definitely. You think in the post-COVID time, more people will come to your sort of resort with the wellness facilities?
Yes, definitely. I think, like I said, it's an advertising we don't need to do. People will look for a way, people will look for green, people will look for healthy. So that will be an automatic advantage for us. So we're obviously promoted, and we are already. But yes, that definitely helps, of course.
Definitely. And people might avoid the capital cities to visit and try to go to kind of smaller places, I guess, to be more.
I think there's definitely going to be a big evolution in travel. I was listening to your last tea session with the doctor about pilgrimage.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, but it's very interesting because things do change. Yes, religions remain the same and people still kind of go to the same places, but because of obstacles, we change. We're like ants. Yeah, if we can't go there, then we find another place to go. So I think things will definitely change. People will still want to go to Bangkok and go shopping. That will still exist. But I think there'll be a percentage of people will say, you know what? Let's go to the mountains. Let's go to the lake. Let's go to the sea. We don't want to be in a big city. We don't want to be in pollution or places like that. So I think the mindset of people will change. You will still get both. And I think people will become very creative in trying to attract the people, which definitely wellness will be one of those big flags that people will be waving everywhere in the world. Yeah, it's going to be very interesting. We all thought we would be ready for it in 2021, but now I think we need to get ready for it in 2022.
Right. Hopefully, right. And Hylton, I know people look for more nature healing and this sort of things, but are there any other emerging like interests or activities among Vietnamese people for their wellness?
Yeah, actually, there's ancient medicinal, and it's not just in Vietnam. It's in many places around the world. Actually, this is also very prevalent in Thailand. Ancient healing techniques that date back many years, they've got lost because of the Western influence. So I think people are definitely searching for alternatives. I mean, we all take in the vaccine and we know so many people say it's not good for you and so many people say it's good for you, but yeah, that's another whole debate and another podcast. But I think that people are also looking for natural ways. I mean, me personally, I've moved away from eating processed food. It's been ongoing, but it's becoming more and more. Yeah, you see, and a lot of Hollywood stars and Bollywood stars are totally vegan, and they're pushing it. And you get bodybuilders and top athletes from around the world who are vegans, because we were all educated in this mindset of you have to eat meat to be strong, and you have to drink milk to be healthy. So I think those things have also changed. So again, from this pandemic, there's an evolution in terms of what people want to eat, how people consider themselves to be healthy. So eating natural, organic food, traditional food from each country, from each culture. And Vietnam is incredibly rich in terms of the food from every area and culture. And it's very healthy. Asian food in general is healthier than Western food, the preparation. So there's that element as well. And I think, yes, to answer your question, people will be looking more and more for that. Again, someone from Hanoi may not come to Hue and look for a bun cha because they can get it in Hanoi, even though it's a traditional dish. But they may try some vegetarian dish or some plant-based dish that we offer from our farm, for example, where they don't get that in Hanoi, but it's healthy and it's still good, versus having meat or a steak or some alcohol or something like that.
I definitely agree. Yeah. I think there'll be more demand for like healthy food tourism or gastronomy tourism, where they have their own organic farms, which Vietnam has a huge advantage for this kind of a demand.
I actually work with different associations here in Vietnam who work with farms, and the farms have actually what's the word I'm looking for? Two functions, because not only is it in terms of vegetables, sustainability, in terms of growth, carbon footprint, and natural, but it's also employment and education. So people don't need to go and work for Reebok in the factory and produce the shirts for $10 that they sell for $300 in London, or £300, sorry. But it's also taking people back into cultural heritage and farming. which has kind of lost its sense around the world, not just Vietnam, because
Mm.
of the industrial world that we live in. So that's also an element that's really coming through from the pandemic, I see as well. So yes, we have a farm and we have people working on our farm, but we actually work with other companies as well who help other farms as well. So yeah, that's another bit. There's many elements, and we can talk for hours, but they all do come together. And yes, the COVID has been a disaster, especially for our industry. But there are positive signs, and all these things are catalysts falling off the truck from we had to find solutions.
Definitely, yeah, I can agree more with you. And I'm actually very curious about what you've been observing for the differences between Vietnamese domestic tourists and Western or international tourists for wellness tourism in Vietnam. Is it also $1 million question?
No. It's at the end of the day, if you're doing juicing, if you're drinking juice or kombucha tea in the morning and juicing for the rest of the day, whether you're Australian, Korean, American, or French, Canadian, it's exactly the same. We may have religions and cultures, but our systems actually all work the same way. There's a nice political statement there. It's like when they show you eggs of different colors, but they're all eggs, right? But so yes, as a domestic, very high domestic business, initially when we started, because of working under the flag of Fusion, which is an international hotel chain, we definitely pushed and said, well, let's get more international business, especially Korea, which is a very big market for our company, and then Australia and Americans. So more and more people are traveling for wellness, and more people are traveling to Asia, Southeast Asia. Vietnam's very popular because it's cheap. And Hue is an ancestral city. It used to be the capital of Vietnam, the imperial city. So there's all these elements that coming together that's, yes, let's push the international market. So we did. And funnily enough, one of the frustrating parts was the food. Even though people love local food, they don't like it for 5 days.
Yeah.
Some people are like, I want to have it, I want to have it, I want to have it. But Asian people can eat rice for 10 years. Western people can eat it for 3 days. So maybe I'm exaggerating, but it's also a different palate and a different culture. But when you're juicing, that's fine, because juicing is juicing. It's just vegetables and fruit and things in a juice. So the international market was pretty much the same. I think the language was a bit of a shocker for our team, because we do have people who speak English, but as they tell me, they don't speak Australian. I remember the first Australian guests we had come on a wellness retreat, and the supervisor from the restaurant, she came up to me and she said, Mr. Lipkin. I said, yeah. She says, everything okay? She goes, everything's great, but what language are they speaking? And I said, they're speaking English. She goes, no, they're not speaking English. She says, I have no idea what they're saying. Yeah, they had a very strong Australian accent, but it was English. So I think in terms of the international market versus the domestic market, there is a small language barrier, but we hire people and train people to be able to speak English at least. Maybe not Korean, maybe not Japanese, maybe not Chinese, but definitely English. Some of the bigger properties here in Vietnam, the more high-end properties, try and have somebody of each language on their team. The property I used to work with in Fusion in the South, we had Korean, we had English, we had French, we had Spanish, we had obviously Vietnamese. So someone can just jump in and help. So I speak French, so we have French. We have Vietnamese, we have English. I can get away with German and Dutch, but the people are the same. The product is the same. Yoga is yoga, whether you're Australian, whether you're Indian, or whether you're Vietnamese. So it's okay. That all works together from wherever you're coming. And it's a common goal. It's a common interest. Being healthy, eating less, eating fresh, breathing, finding yourself, discovering yourself in nature. It doesn't matter what culture, what language you come from. That all works. That works very well. So we don't have a problem with that. And I think most of the world have that. I would say India has more of an in-depth Ayurvedic, Hindu culture with regards to yoga, but yoga is still yoga. And maybe here in Asia, we have more of an in-depth Buddhist type of Tai Chi meditation concept than they would maybe have in New York City or in London for that matter. But you still have people who trained and are passed down. So that all does actually work. And people are actually looking for that because they want something different, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So whether it's international or domestic, it's still an attraction for everybody.
And I know you managed very well with attracting upper middle class Vietnamese tourists and like budget travelers within your own properties, right? How did you manage these two different segments?
Say again, sorry?
So I know you had the upper class Vietnamese domestic tourists coming to your
Okay.
resorts, but also you had the programs for everyone as well. So how did you manage these different groups?
Actually, it's even more complicated than that. Our property is very big. It's nearly 50 hectares of jungle space and openness, and it's split up into a 3-star, a 4-star, and a 5-star. So we have 3-star accommodation, we have 4-star accommodation, and then we have 5-star accommodation. And to make it more complicated, we have a day park, a day use, where people can come just for the day. So we have to manage all these different people at the same time. So when it's a group coming for a wellness retreat, 20 people doing a program, it doesn't matter where they're staying, because they're always here for their meeting, here for their drink, here for their food, here for their yoga session. That's easy. But when it's all mixed up, it can be a little bit complicated. But we've split the property in two. So the 3-star guests, if they want to do high-end wellness activities, they would just pay for it and come over onto the 4-star and 5-star side of the property. A little bit like Disneyland. You can go there, but you pay more to use those rides. Otherwise, you just stay and you can do as much as you want over there, but you can't go over there. It's very similar. So we kind of had a line. And then the day pass and 3-star guests can enjoy. They still have hot spring. They still have all the jungle activities and everything. But then on the 4-star and 5-star side, which is a little bit more expensive, you have the very luxurious spa, and you have all the meditation activities and all the different meditation walking and things like that. But any one of the guests can sign up for any one of the activities. For example, when you stay in the 4-star and 5-star, you get massage included with your room. So you come to the property, you have breakfast and you have treatments per day and you have your room, it's all included. Whereas when you stay in the 3-star, if you wanted to do massage, you would have to pay.
Really interesting. Wow. Yeah, it sounds complicated, but you managed it.
It kind of works well because it's 2 worlds. It's one team and 2 worlds. Yeah.
But I really like that your business doesn't just attract, upper class people for their wellness, but also open for everyone for different products.
That's a very big advantage.
Yeah, that's really
because families from Hue region, where we are based, a lot of them come for the day, and they come with their families and their older parents, and it's an outing, and they come for food, and they come soak in the hot springs the whole day, and they sit and they relax. At the end of the day, that's still wellness because there's the happiness element, there's the relaxation. But for them, it's a journey out into the day, and they're not looking for champagne glasses. They're not looking for a butler. They're looking to pay their ticket, come in, enjoy the facilities as long as it's clean, as long as it's working, and then they go home. Whereas on the other side, you pay a little bit more, but they're expecting more service. So it works. It works.
Definitely. I'm sure once the lockdown is easing and there is less travel restrictions, people will fly and run to your properties. I mean, for
actually, throughout the pandemic, every time we've closed and then opened, we've been full straight away. We've been very lucky.
Oh, really? Oh.
Yeah. At the moment we open and we put it down on Facebook and we boost it and we tell people we open, the immediate vicinity around us, they come straight away. We're very lucky. And when we close, we get a lot of phone calls. So we have a great reputation, and that helps. We also don't have a lot of competition, which also helps because we buy ourselves. But it's a huge advantage, of course.
Yeah, but you said you're lucky, but I think you just got the just right products and right services for people. That's where people go, right?
Yeah, I suppose so. I mean, coastal towns and people wanting to go to a nice, beautiful hotel, looking over the sea every day and having the beach, that's also an advantage. If you're sitting in Ho Chi Minh City and you love the sea, and then someone says to you, oh yeah, you can go to Hue, it's a green forest and there's hot springs and it's beautiful. But an hour away in Da Nang, there's beautiful 5-star hotels with long white beaches and you can walk in the morning and sunrise. It's like, I don't know, the children might like it at the sea. So it's not as if we have something that everybody wants. It is kind of unique, but there is competition in terms of, you know, what people want. But the element of wellness is definitely a plus. But then again, for a family, it can be a negative. It's like, oh, we're not going to take the kids there. They're not going to have anything to eat, which is not true because we have everything. But so it has its advantages and disadvantages. But anyway, it works. So
yeah. So that's what we can work on together for Hue Wellness Tourism. Hue as a wellness tourism destination, right?
I have actually spoken to the tourism board because I am the ambassador for World Wellness Weekend for Vietnam. And I can explain that after if you want. And I actually went straight to the Hue Tourism Board to explain about World Wellness Weekend. And our conversation turned into making Hue into a wellness destination, a greener destination, an outdoor destination, a capital of Oyai destination, all these types of things. So, and again, incorporating the local culture, which I know is one of your passions, all of that. And I've actually already spoken to them about that. So unfortunately, due to the wave, that has kind of, we're just all sitting and waiting, but that's all going to happen. It's definitely going to happen.
Yeah, sounds wonderful. And I know, again, there are negative impacts and devastating economic impact in the, especially this industry, but yeah, there are opportunities like this. Small cities, small towns and villages can have opportunities, especially with wellness trends. So something
Correct.
something to definitely
Yeah,
explore.
I mean,
Yeah.
That's life. You have to look for the positive. Yes, it's very difficult, and yes, it's extremely negative. And I think if I had to make a list of the pros and the cons, I'm sure the con would be a lot longer than the pros. But there is always a silver lining. And like I said, the negative impact of being unhealthy is a massive positive impact for us, for people to be healthy. And the fact that we don't have the sea and the fact that we're far away from everyone in the tourism industry is like, whoa, that's a difficult sell. But actually, no, because people want to get away from other people and they want to get out into nature. So that becomes a unique selling point versus a negative point.
Yeah, definitely. And people want to be away from people too for social distancing still, even after a pandemic is over. I think you want to be quiet.
Yeah, I think for the next couple of years, every time someone sneezes or coughs, we're all going to panic.
Yeah, don't.
I
run.
Yeah. It'll be like in the military, where we all dive down on the ground.
But it was really wonderful speaking to you, and it was also very positive talk. Any positive news and talk, we welcome these days.
Yeah, sure. No, I mean, I think like when I met you in our talk with the Hue Tourism Board University, it's everything mixes. And the fact that your passion is within tourism and your education and your research is within tourism, like some of the other talks you've done, it all interlinks. And from myself, I'm in the practical. I'm the one dealing with these guests. I'm the one creating these programs. I'm the one making those guests want to come as tourists. And your study and your expertise is, what is tourism? How do we develop tourism? How does it work? Where does it go? Why doesn't it go? What works? What doesn't work? So I think it kind of fits quite well, where I can say to you, yeah, you guys can write a thesis for 10 years, but hey, that ain't gonna work. It's not gonna fly. Generally, I don't think that's the case, but it's quite interesting from an education perspective and a practical perspective. I mean, I'm very passionate, as I told you before, in education, what you guys are doing. I mean, you're a doctor, so it's not just a small education, it's a serious level of education.
But yeah,
So,
definitely I appreciate
I
your
had to-
input and our collaboration. It's really critical time to
Yeah.
collaborate from education, industry, and government and tourism authorities too, right?
Of course, of course, of
So
course.
this has been
Yes.
really positive. I look forward to collaborating with you for Hue wellness destination development, definitely.
Definitely, definitely.
Yeah.
That would be fantastic. Yes.
Thank you so much,
Cool.
Hylton. Yeah. Did you want to
Thank
say
you.
anything? Oh.
No, no, no.
Well, thank you so much. I hope to see you in person.
I do need to tell you one thing about World Wellness Weekend.
Oh yeah,
It's not so much, it's not about tourism, but it's about World Wellness Weekend. So I am an ambassador to what we call the World Wellness Weekend. So on the 18th and 19th of September, that's in 2 weeks' time, the whole world will be doing wellness on that weekend. We have 133 countries involved, Korea and England included. We have over 2,000 events organized across the globe. Here in Hue, we have 78 events organized. So please, if anyone, your friends, you know, people, go to worldwellnessweekend.org and you can click on maps and you can see an activity that you can join. There are many free activities online, like all of us have been going crazy.
That
doing all
sounds
these
good.
webinars.
Free event.
Free. No, it's all, the World Wellness Weekend is all about being free. It's about providing wellness to the world. Yeah. Well, we call it wellness for the world, by the world. So please, yeah. And we do this. This is a W. Yeah.
We will end with this. I'll definitely spread the word. I've seen the advertisement on LinkedIn, but I'll definitely tell everyone. I'll be there too.
Right. Yes. So yeah, if anyone wants to join, yes, World Wellness Weekend, come and join in a free activity, any country, anywhere in the world. And yeah, be healthy, be happy, live well.
Thank you so much, Hylton. I'll see you there.
Okay. Take care.
Bye-bye. Take care.
Thank you.